Hi, it's Chris Watkinsofa here, and I'm joined by Dave Long, estate agent and letting agent from Shepperton in London, with his firm. He's a partner in Newbold. Thanks for joining me today, Dave.
Thank you.
I'd like to talk to you about your story as an estate agent throughout all the years. I think you've been in the business nearly 20 years now, so
nearly.
well done. You get less for arson than murder, I think. And the time you saw the light about wanting to be your own estate agent and turning it from a transactional to a relationship-based estate agency, especially using the power of data as well.
Yeah.
So let's kick off. 2002, you became an estate agent with Townends. What made you become an estate agent?
I was made redundant from a job previously, 6 months after buying my first apartment.
Okay.
And literally I applied for every job I could find. And Townends estate agents came back to me first. And it was a blessing in disguise, though, looking back at it now.
How old were you in 2002?
I was 21.
21.
Yeah.
Just bought your own house in London?
Yeah,
apartment?
right by Heathrow, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Been a train spotter, eh? A plane spotter, yeah?
No, not really, no. It was what I could afford at the time.
Good for you, good for you. That's Hams, though, isn't it? Around there?
Yeah,
Good
yeah,
stuff.
just a few
Not
miles
a bad
away.
part of the world. Not
That's
bad.
all right. Yeah.
Can you remember your first day in the estate agency?
Yeah.
How did it go?
Completely thrown in at the deep end there. So the day I turned up, it was the manager's first day as a manager as well.
Okay.
And I was basically put in the corner of the office with a huge pile of applicant cards, call through them all and see who's still looking. That was my job for the next few days.
And what was your training? Just there's a phone?
Everything on job, on site as that, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did those calls go?
I would say that most of them, like everyone, is leave messages. You call at the wrong time. The ones that do want to talk to you, you'll have some sort of a conversation. But of course, I didn't really know what I was asking for back then.
It's probably a good thing though, because you weren't in sales mode, were you?
No, not at all. It was just your mind is a sponge and you're taking everything in and listening to the other guys in the office that are already doing it.
Okay, so by the end of the first month, did you think, I like this?
Yeah.
Why did you like it?
I felt whatever I was putting into it, I knew I was getting out of it. So previous jobs...
What do you mean by that?
Previous jobs, I could work 3-4 times harder than somebody else, but we're all getting the same thing out of it at the end of the day. Within this, what you put in, not just income, but just the feedback, the clients, the relationships you build from that, and the doors it opens as well.
Why is that important to you, that you're treated equitably and fair with regard to your efforts?
I always have done, really.
Okay. Is that come from your parents, grandparents?
It must be parents, yeah.
Okay.
No, I've never really thought about it, to be completely honest. But yeah, it's one thing I always say to my kids now. It's great learning all these things, but they've got to learn how to put it into action. And you can meet the cleverest people in the world, but if they don't, all that knowledge, if they don't actually action it.
Okay. Was it winding you up, that your previous job, that you were working 2 or 3 times harder, but still coming home with the same amount?
Yeah, without knowing it though. Only once I experienced something different did I know that.
It's like seeing, you only know it when you see it.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so you were a bottom runner.
Trainee, negotiator. Yeah.
Okay. When did they start sending you out on viewings?
Day 2.
Day 2. God,
Yeah.
you're cracking on here, Dave.
Yeah. First valuation from the second quarter.
Okay, that's a bit quick, wasn't it?
It's not the way I would do it, but...
Was it a case of the value was ill that day, or...?
No.
Or...
Maybe a bit too busy.
Okay, probably a time waster. We'll send Dave out there. He's young lad. So you went in the company Vauxhall Nova, or...
That was right, yeah.
Okay. Can you remember your first free valuation?
Can I remember it? Yeah.
Do you get it?
No.
No. But what do you particularly remember about the property or the people?
I remember the property clearly. I could walk there. I know exactly where it is.
We all remember our first, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. My manager said to me, "Do you believe in our fee and what we do?" So I said, "Yeah, of course I do." He said, "Right, you ready then? Go in there and tell them why." But no, it didn't come to the market with me there and then. It may well have a little while after.
Okay. When did you start to become more of a valuer as opposed to a neg?
So I was when I started at Townends, probably 18 months after in that office, I was approached by a manager of one of their top offices to go there. Went there, kind of in a senior role, and started valuations at the back end of that.
So that would be probably 2003, 2004, somewhere around there.
Yeah, and a bigger team, much more experienced team. Just every day you learn something.
How did you feel as a 22, 23-year-old that one of the other big bosses had tickled you?
Brilliant.
Yeah?
Yeah, brilliant.
Did it go to your head or were you pretty level?
It went to my head.
Okay.
Yeah, within 6 months, he was then having a conversation with me. Remember why I brought you here? Yeah. Which was a bit of a wake-up call.
Do you think that was just youth?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But did you learn something from that?
Yeah, he's one of my best friends now.
Okay.
Yeah, nearly 20 years on. Yeah, so absolutely. He taught me loads, how to talk to people as well.
Do you think you'd still be an estate agent if you had to have moved over to this second office in Townends?
Yeah.
Yeah, but do you think you'd be here today if you hadn't have learned what you taught you?
That's a good question. One way or another, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Probably just a different path.
Different route.
What did he teach you?
How to deal with people. No matter who he was speaking to, from one phone call to the next, there could be a joke in the office. As soon as he's on the phone, it was business mode and he knew how to react to that person. The next phone call could have been a completely different type of person, demographic, and he knew how to switch it and have the correct conversation with them as well.
Do you think the youngsters of today are learning those skills?
Possibly not.
Okay. Is it our responsibility? I mean, I'm assuming, I do hope you teach your guys these things.
Yeah, I think it's a different. I think what I was doing at 15, 16 is probably very different to what 15, 16-year-olds are doing now.
What were you doing at 15 or 16?
Working. The minute I could remember, I wanted to get a Saturday job and earn a couple of quid.
Okay. Where's that work ethic come from?
Parents.
Why is that? How do they instill that in you?
I would wake up in the morning, Dad had already gone to work. As I was going to bed, Dad was coming in.
What did he do?
Chartered surveyor.
All right.
Yeah, chartered building surveyor.
Big job. What did your mum do?
Nothing until I started school. So she was at home, and then as soon as I was at school, or my brother was at school, she was then like a purchase ledger for a breakdown company.
But they instilled hard work. Do you think we as a society instill enough hard work in our children?
No.
Okay.
No. I don't think I see enough.
Do you in your children?
Yeah.
And you think they're going to be better for it?
I hope so. That's the
How
aim.
old are your kids?
11 and 6.
Good stuff.
So.
Well, hopefully they'll look back at this in.
Yeah,
20
hopefully.
years' time.
But yeah, I'm very aware of that and conscious of that. They need to know that. Definitely.
So you were at Townends until 2005.
Yeah.
Then you moved across to Gascoigne Peas. What made that move?
The area manager was out viewing with me at Townends.
Okay.
Got on really well. So he said, whenever you want to try something different, give me a call.
Right.
And maybe 2-3 months later, I wanted to try a different area, working for different people. I'm a firm believer that you learn something from everyone.
Okay.
And so my aim was always to try and progress my career, and whoever I was working with different, take the best bits from them.
You were out on a viewing with Townends and you met the area manager from Gascoigne
Yeah, I
Peas.
was taking him out viewing his next home.
And he just said, if you fancy something.
Yeah.
Was it hard sell or was it nice and easy?
Nice and easy, yeah.
Excellent.
The interview was in a pub, and we'd agreed everything within half hour, basically.
Good stuff.
But moved to a completely different area, different marketplace.
Whereabouts was that then?
I then went from Staines to East Sheen, South West London.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, so it was
Did you have to move?
Nope, just travelled in every morning.
Okay. And were you are you married at this point or had a partner?
No, I had a partner who I'm now married to. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
How did she feel about you having to travel a hell of a lot more distance?
She was an estate agent in Richmond, so that helped.
Fair goes.
Yeah.
Did you both meet in the state
We
agency?
met at Townends, yeah.
I met my wife in the state
Yeah.
agency. And we were on the same.
Yeah,
How
I
sweet
think
is that?
one of my business partners, she met her husband in Townends as well.
There you go. Eh?
It's that industry.
It is that into
Yeah.
Is she still in the state agency?
No, she was 10 years, 11 years now, secondary school teacher,
Fantastic.
which she always wanted to do. She fell into a state agency.
At least she had the balls to actually take a step away. And what does she teach?
English.
Fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
must be very proud of
Yeah, she's phenomenal. Yeah. She left the state agency. She'd done an open university degree to get her English, and then that was it. She was into school from there.
Lovely. And is that local to where you are in Shepperton?
We live a bit further out, but yeah, she's local secondary school now.
Lovely. So how was life at Gascoigne Peas? You were there for about a couple of years.
Yep. Again, really, that was up until now. That was probably my best time in estate agency. Fantastic team.
Why did you enjoy it?
I loved working where we were. Southwest London as an area was brilliant. From where I came from, everything was bigger, bolder.
Yeah.
Countrywide, Gascoigne Peas was part of the Countrywide group.
So who was the big boss of Gascoigne Peas at that time?
Darren Simpson.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
His name comes up all the time. Is
Yeah.
Good egg.
and I really enjoyed working for that company. I loved it. Learnt loads.
Why did you leave then?
I left. So when I was at Gascoigne Peas, I was getting on really well. I'd been offered an office, but didn't feel I was ready for an office in terms of getting enough valuations to keep an office going. So I stayed as assistant manager, and one morning our area manager came into us. I had to do a morning meeting, and I'll never forget. He missed the whole morning meeting. All he was doing was answering phone calls from negotiators everywhere, moaning about company cars, moaning about other employees. And after the morning meeting, he sat down with me, and I said, you missed all of that? He said, I was just dealing with one issue after another. He said, wait till it's your turn, you're doing that in a few years. And it was like a click. I didn't want that. Everything I love about the business is being out, meeting clients, viewings, valuations. I thought he was more of a primary school teacher, looking after staff. And it's weird how things happen. Then about 5-6 months later, I got chatting to my next employer, Hodders, which was my area manager from Townends, had opened up their own office.
Okay.
And we just got chatting, and he asked me to come in to help push that forward, and with the view that franchises would open later on.
I'm with you.
So I could always be hands-on. So that was the route.
So by seeing what had happened to the area manager with Gascoigne Peas, which is countrywide, you thought to yourself, my God, I don't want that.
Correct. Yeah.
You love the thrill of the chase, doing the deals.
Yeah, and speaking to the clients every day, meeting the clients and being part of what their journey is.
It sounds to me that you're very relationship-based with regard to your estate agency, not
Yeah.
transactional.
Correct.
Let's hold that thought. We'll carry
Okay.
on with that later. So you went to Hodders in 2007,
Yep.
just as the housing market went, what's the name up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good timing, eh?
Squeaky bum time?
Sorry?
Was it squeaky bum time or?
Yeah. Yeah, we had a really good team there. And by mid-2008, it was the two directors, myself, left. So everyone had to go, unfortunately. But, I was working directly under the two directors who were two of the best estate agents I've met. They really taught me the business side of things, because every penny counted then.
So you'd learn your love of being an estate agent with Townends and Gascoignes, but the bosses at Hodders taught you how to be a business person as well.
Correct.
Because that's quite a rare skill, isn't it?
Yeah, I was very fortunate. Yeah, very fortunate.
Okay, so the housing market in London came out quite quickly in 2009-10. I'm assuming you had a lovely run of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Very quickly, we opened two more offices. So we had 3 offices quite quickly, probably by 2010, 2011. And Then we opened up a fourth office a couple of years later.
Okay, and you were running one of these and
Yep, and helping support opening up the next one as well.
enjoying life, in the
Loved
12,
it.
13, 14, you were getting training.
Yep, good training. Every you're seeing every aspect of the business as well because it's such a small company.
It sounds like perfect nirvana. We're in 2021 and you left there in late December 2017.
Yep.
What point in 15 or 16 or 17 did you think, actually, this isn't for me?
I think when I joined the company, it was always of the hope that I would probably go franchise, and it just didn't work out. Just how the company evolved and the directors were doing their thing. I wanted to look at.
Could you bought in? Do you think on some equity, or was that?
I think maybe at the end of it, yes, we could have had that chat. But after speaking to the guys at Newbold and knowing how we wanted to move forward, I didn't see anything else.
Were you just unhappy? I mean,
I don't know if unhappy is the right word.
I mean, this is nothing against Hodders.
No.
I just want to.
2016, 2017, I went to see Josh Fegan in a seminar.
Okay.
And it sounds ridiculous now, but the things he spoke about then, all I'd ever known was make the phone calls, get the viewings, get the offers, get a sale agreed, get exchange, get the next one in. He was telling us to get completion, call the buyer the next day, see what problems there are, open up a can of worms. They know you're there to support them and keep this relationship going. And I loved that idea.
The fact that you've become an estate agent for life.
Correct. Yeah. If they felt they needed advice on an extension or anything, they knew they could call me. And that's what I really liked.
And do you think with your existing employer, they were more transactional in their approach?
As a whole, yeah, but they really, really wanted to change that after we all saw Josh.
Okay.
But it's the practicalities. We had 4 offices, maybe 5,000-6,000 contacts in the system. It's knowing where you begin and how to change that whole ethos.
It was almost like a super tanker, and you wanted to move it in one direction, but you would have to bring everyone with you. And it's one thing having the staff on board, but then the actual process of changing everything is huge. It was almost like a burning desire that you wanted to try this for yourself.
Yeah.
And you knew it would work, but.
Yeah, I had to park in my mind, I had to park the idea until an opportunity arose.
Didn't that frustrate you?
Yep. Hence why when the call came from Newbold to just have a chat,
So that was in late 2017, and
yeah.
Newbolds were a letting agency run by, is that Leah and Barry?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. So why did they contact you? Because obviously you worked with them back in.
Worked with them previously. Yeah.
Yeah.
As you do, you always keep in touch with previous colleagues that you always got on well with, and it was pure chance that Leah texted me one day, just out of the blue, just to talk about opening up a sales department, and then a couple of nights later we all met down the pub.
Okay, you do like your pubs, don't you?
We do, yeah. We could then, yeah.
Okay, and they offered you a partnership in the firm.
Yeah.
Had your wife become a teacher by this point?
Yeah.
Were you not scared that you were leaving what could be best described as a damn decent job with Hodders?
Not once, amazingly.
Surely you must have had some fears.
I didn't, no. I knew the marketplace we were opening up in. I knew Barry and Leah really well. I knew how they worked. It was the same mindset as myself. No, my wife was 100% go for it.
It must have meant the world to you that your other half.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you remember the day you handed your notice in?
Yeah, I was petrified.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely petrified.
And how did it go?
Yeah, brilliant. We got nice lunch. I told them what was what. We got a great lunch in and sat there in a couple of hours, and it was really good. Yeah, it was really nice.
So they didn't burn their bridges. That's a lesson learned for
No,
everyone.
not at all. No, not at all. Yeah, they're great guys.
So you started a sales department to Newbold in Shepperton, which is in Surrey. How did it go?
Yeah, eager to get started. Day one was I hate the term back to basics, but it was door knocking. It's tout letters. It's trying to get your name out there as quickly as possible and clinching on to someone that's unhappy somewhere so that they jump ship and try something different.
And when were you able to start opening that can of worms, which was the relationships, what Josh Fegan said? When did you start?
I would say 3-4 months after we started, across various social media platforms, there were adverts for an estate agency X conference, and just glancing through it, I was looking at everything back then just to see what way we can do things, and the advert was along the same lines of the things that Josh Regan discussed. So I booked a ticket to go have a look at that. I knew that it would be about my mindset and what I wanted to do, but just to see how it could be implemented.
Can you remember the first time you saw Mark on stage?
Yep.
Because he's very good at eulogising, isn't he?
He is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good day. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not criticising. So what was the one thing that you took away from what Mark was saying?
So everything I wanted to do with the relationship was exactly what he was saying, but he was using it as a data-driven company.
Almost like a system. His system enabled you to nurture
Correct.
those relationships.
Yeah, but so everything he said about how we should be working and operating, I completely agreed with. But for the majority of that day, I was still sitting there wondering how I can do it. And then obviously he then talked about his software, and that was it, light bulb moment.
Did you actually start talking to him straight away about it?
Yeah, I did. So myself and Leah attended that event. We were both very much for it. Barry wasn't there. So it was then us talking to Barry and saying why we like it. Okay. And it wasn't until the following year that we then became a client.
Okay. Trying to persuade somebody to buy a system with a price tag that Lifecycle is, who's not actually listening,
yep,
is a real hard thing. So how did you persuade's the wrong word. How did you get Barry to buy into the fact is that it costs a lot of money?
I think it was he trusts Leah and I. He knows what we're good at, and we were very keen, very, very keen to move forward with this. And I think, month on month, quarter on quarter, we were doing more and more business. Organically, we were growing. At some stage, we were going to have to bring maybe somebody else in, but the software that we're using now, the way I mentioned it to Barry, it was half the price of a crap neg.
Yeah.
So that was it.
And if you had to describe what Lifecycle does for you in your agency, in nice layman terms, that estate agents could understand, what does it do?
So it does all my social media, is one thing. The biggest thing it does for me is it contacts everyone in my database. What I quickly learned was that it's great wanting to nurture all these people and keep in touch with them long term.
Because I can just put them onto MailChimp, can't I? If I wanted to, I could just shed loads of bloody
Yeah,
emails
you could do, but it's getting the right message across to them.
Yes.
Because they're always going to be at different points in their journey.
Yes.
And that's easier for us to manage through the life cycle.
So you put in content,
yeah, which
is of interest. I'm assuming not doesn't talk about yourself in your pie charts or anything like that.
There's not one pie chart in the system.
Good lad, that's what I like to see. Because if it does, I'll come down to London and slap you. That's it nicely. Okay, so it's not just a MailChimp which just chucks stuff out. It kind of tags people, doesn't it, in terms of where they are on the journey. So Does it then actually then throw back names of people that you should be ringing because they're about to make a decision then?
Yes. Yeah. So
Does that actually work?
very much so. Yeah.
Come on.
Well, yeah, it does. So, and this is, so we've built various different audiences. You know, we've got journeys for landlords, journey for people that want to become landlords, journeys for buyers that are looking through us at the moment, sellers, and then just homeowners that maybe aren't looking to move in the near future, but at some point they have an interest in either the local market or property in general. So they're all getting relevant information.
And everyone's not getting everything. They're getting information.
No, what Mr. Smith, the investor, might get at 10 o'clock today, Mr. Jones, who's just bought property at the same time, will get something completely different, but relevant to what they're interested in.
But that does mean, though, you have to feed it different content.
Yeah.
That must take an awful lot of time to write.
Not a huge amount of time. We aim to have one piece of content out a week. Okay. And obviously we've been doing this for 2 years now, so we've got a good catalogue, and we always make it our town specific. So yeah, so there is always something different for someone.
So you're checking out local relevant content, what about yourself or about the property market?
The property market, what's happening, what might be happening, local businesses, anything local.
It's all about keeping it local, is it?
Yes, because that's what they're not interested in what I'm doing, they're interested in where they live.
Did you have any teething? It sounds wonderful, but quite often these things that you know, with these prop techs, they sell you snake oil, and then when they don't actually help you implement it. Did you have any teething troubles implementing it?
Not externally. I would say the only issues we had were probably ourselves in I'll say in letting go, because you do have to completely change the way you're working from what I've done for 17, 18 years.
What, you have to trust the computer to basically chuck out the names that he needs ringing?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you do. You've got to trust the process, and then when you see it working, that's when you respect it, and you know it's working, and that's when you just want to feed it.
And Barry's still happy with it?
Loves it. Yeah.
And it really is the price of a half crap neg.
That's the way I looked at it, and was to discuss it with Barry. Yeah, and you think it's 24/7, 365 days. You know, I'm sitting here now, and it's working, getting me clients. It's always working. It's not having a day off. It's always pushing.
And what support do you get from Lifesycle to ensure that it's still working?
The support is great from them guys, and where I really noticed it was the first lockdown. We locked up the office, went home. We all went home to families, wondering what was next. Next day, I had Mark and Rob. Right, we've got a webinar, so we had 2 webinars a week, just bouncing different ideas around. You know, we're clients of other things within our industry. I didn't get anybody else contact me. It was just them guys. So yeah, so we put a lot together during that first lockdown. We had the time on our hands to do it.
And subsequently, with regard to help with Lifecycle, a lot of Lifecycle agents say they love the support they get from Rob.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, he's great.
Why is that important? I'm going to tell myself here. Why is it so important for a prop tech supplier to help you embed their own?
I think with those guys, they're not just prop tech suppliers. They've done this job. They've been there, done it. So they've got their own experience of what works, what doesn't. And if they notice something that they've done previously or know of a client that has worked, they'll let us know so we can implement it in our system.
Are you not concerned that that the true benefit from this is going to be long term? Although you said earlier on that you are in this game for the long game.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
40.
So you've still got another 25 years left to go, haven't you?
Yeah. Well, hopefully not that. Hopefully it's less than that if it all goes well.
But if you do that well, you'll get bored and you'll want to go back, won't you?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
What would your advice be to estate agents, considering that they want data? Let's be honest, estate agents sit on so much data.
Yeah.
All the reports say that data is where everything is at. Do you genuinely believe it is a game changer in a estate agency?
Yeah. As much as the portals were, when they came in, it changed how we did everything. in terms of our advertising. This has got to be the same. And I think away from the industry, there's so many good examples of that as well. You know, you look at the Netflix versus Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Only one winner there.
Indeed. Can I thank you for your time today?
Yeah, it's been great, thank you.
No, thank you. I just want to stress for the record that Lifecycle have not paid me a penny to do this video. It's just that I am a huge, massive fan of the system, as long as you work it well and you feed it well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
And you let it do its thing. I know there's some agents out there that just bought it and then didn't spend any time with it, didn't feed it for the content. It's not going to work. And then it's just an expensive white elephant, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. There's still a job for you to do, definitely.
But if you do all that, it needs serious consideration. It's not for everyone, is it?
No, absolutely not. No, but for us and our business model, it's perfect. Yeah.
Thank you for your time today, and please do check them out. As I said, I'm not being paid to, I'm stressed, and I will keep stressing it, not being paid to do this. It's just that when I see something I like, I shout about it, and I love Lifecycle. Thank you for your time today, Dave.
Thank you.